Hello again, and in this particular video, um, I'm going to talk about how to use the words related to comparison when you have to make comparison, and this has to be made in different questions, and the kind of variety that you will bring that will always help you in doing that. So I have already used it and I have hinted you at the time of going through those writing, but here I will specifically mention those kind of expression, right? So let's start. Oops, that's a mess. Okay, let's start with this. Try to this fewer students then more students then. You can, so when we can use it when you're talking about counting them, or when you can count them, you can say the biggest drop, that's a superlative degree, the highest cases, the maximum, the minimum. So these kind of words can be used a lot. Be careful that always comparative forms always followed by then. That's the rule, basic rule of comparison. And in superlative degree, it is always preceded by the. Here it is followed, here it is preceded. Just below 20%, just over 30-inch, that you can use. That's again a comparison below, because you're comparing it with 20% here, you're comparing it with 30, so specific comparison. Then, and this is important, that will bring variety to your writing. This is important. I mentioned the same thing when I was going through the writing part. You can see when you say a bit, slightly, little higher, or smaller, or bigger, whatever. So if the difference is too less, so rather than simply saying it is higher, for example, if you are comparing the price of, for example, in India, Wagoner and Centro, you'll say that the price of Centro is a bit higher than Wagoner. So because the difference is too little, but if you see simply higher, it may not get the idea that how much is the difference. So that is important advanced term that you can use for comparison. And exactly opposite is when the difference is too big. If I go into the same context and talk about the comparison between two cars, perhaps if I'm comparing, for example, Audi, if you for an example Audi or Range Rovers with Wagoner, then you have to see there's a huge difference. If you talk about the price parts, you can say, then you have the terminology like a lot, much, far. So there is we can say Audi is a lot more expensive than, right, more expensive than. So it simply gives the idea the difference is too big. So you can say a lot plus comparative forms, much plus comparative forms, or far from comparative form. These two are very important. Please keep in mind that if you are able to use them, it will demonstrate the advanced level of comparative expressions that you can use. So these are important. Then these are simple, higher than, larger than, but more beautiful than. So that's again a very basic rule, that if you have a smaller word, although I'm not going into the details of that, because then again there are many exceptions, you have to understand syllables and all those things. I don't want you to be into that. Simply understand that if the words look smaller, like high, large, small, we simply use er and it is followed by then. But if the word is a bit bigger, like beautiful, expensive, you can see how many times there is no smaller unit of pronunciation. So expensive, beautiful, but here large. So you don't need any other syllables. High, right? So in this case, it should be preceded by more for sure, and it should be followed by then. But never make the mistake that, and which is made by many students, that this building is more higher than that. That's not possible. Higher is already a comparison. You cannot add more before them. So you cannot do that, right? So be careful that two comparatives cannot be used, which is a very familiar mistakes made by students. This is similarly the highest. Why? Because this is a smallest word. So we are saying the highest, but here, the way we are adding more here, we are using most here, the most expensive. So you cannot say this is the most highest peak of India. That's not possible. You have already used one superlative word here, and you cannot add two. So highest and most, these two cannot be joined together. So be careful. Then other words like as big as, when you're talking about the similarity, almost as big as, if you can add before that. Oh, okay, I have added it. Almost, that's almost similar, you can say that. There is a very tiny difference between, so nearly as big as, almost as cold as, these are the words. Then twice as high as, and see the expression. Then the figure turned twice as high as 2019. Not as big as, twice as many. So these three words again important if you can use it. Twice as high as, twice as many, and four times as many as, so four times or anything. Twice as many, four times as many as. Sorry, it should be times, it should not be tens, right? It should be four times, right? Let me change it a bit, right? So it should be four times. Can I change it a bit? Oh, oops, that's a big problem. Let me bring it back. mm, Sorry for the mess. This is here right now. Yeah, okay, so you can say four times as many as, right? Four times as many as. Now that's fine, right? Okay. Um, okay. So now it's fine, right? Four times. So it's four times now. It is. You can see this four times as many as. Then double, trebled, halved. So you can use it for increasing. So the figure doubled next year, or figure halved next year, or it trebled next year, or there was a three times increase, you can say that, or it increased three times as many as previous year, or something like that, right? I hope you have understood that. There can be some more expressions, so you can look out for this expression in my writing as well, but I think this is an adequate list. If you just go through it, if you're able to use them, that will be of huge benefit. Okay, so that's all about this video. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you very soon in next video. Bye for now.